Welcome back, fellow fishing fanatics. I'm Michigan Troller, and today I figured I'd show you some of the ways to fish down at 6th Street Dam. I've fished there many years now, and I've helped out quite a bit of people learn and start off fishing down there. It's kind of a different type of fishing down there. A lot of people bottom bounce on the east side. That's the one that I generally fish on. The west side by the fish ladder, they kind of have their own little system over there, and it's a free-for-all for the most part on that side, so I stay on the east side. But a lot of people, when it's this time of year, will do casting out to the middle and just bottom bouncing, the drifting. They don't use floats or anything like that, and they'll use generally either a S-tag egg, yarn ball, or the beads, any kind of like these beads here. So I figured I'd show you the rod setup, the reel that a lot of people are using down there, what you should get if you want to go down there and try it out, and then the line and pretty much the whole kit and caboodle of what you need. So starting off, I have this is just a Shakespeare Wild series. It's a cheaper rod, nothing too fancy. This one is medium light action for 6 to 12 pound. It's a 9 foot, and that's what I would recommend getting for your ride, to get like 9-10 foot, somewhere's in there. Don't go with a shorter one like a 6-7 foot. You're not going to want that. You want something longer. You can feel the nice bites, little taps at the end of the rod, and you got a good long rod to fight the fish and load up on and absorb some of the big runs that happen when you're fighting some of the steelhead down there. This is more of a steelhead rod casting out there. You can use it for salmon as well, but this is one I generally use for casting out for steelhead in springtime. I have a Okuma reel on it. This one in particular is a Trio, I believe, Trio 40. Get something that can have, in the 10-15 pound range for line. You don't need to get a huge reel, but you don't want a little one that's like for fishing for panfish and all that. You want something that's going to be good drag on it, so when they do go take the big runs, you'll be able to let it fight, reel her back in. I've had this reel for quite a long time, and it's done pretty good. I generally go and pair it up with high vis. I like the high vis yellow. This one's Cabela's. This is 20 pound. The ones that I put on to my reels generally 12 to 15 pounds. When I'm doing the chuck and duck, for like when I'm actually wading in the river during salmon time, fall and all that, I'll use my fly rod and I'll fish it differently because I'm actually wading in the river. This time of year, the water's so high and moving so much that you can't get into the river out to where the middle of it is. That's why you see a lot of boats out there. So that's when you have to fish from shore and use your casting rods. So I like to get the high vis. That way when you're drifting it through the middle of the run, you can see your line stand out, you know where it's at, you can tend to it and follow it along nice and easily all the way down the drift. So a high vis yellow or orange, that's a nice line to have. I wouldn't go with a braided line that it frays pretty quick and easy. There's so many rocks down there that it gets cut up within a few drifts. It'll break off. So go with some monofilament line like this, and the high vis, like I said, is one of the best. That way you can see it through the whole drift. So that's your rod, reel, your line. Now I'll kind of show you how everyone's setting up their actual bait and tying off to it. So get these cut off. You got your main line coming through. So this is your end for your main line. Generally, you're tying up to a leader, and people will use the regular old barrel swivel. How they do it down there is they throw a sinker onto a snap swivel, pretty much just like that. This goes onto your main line, and it rides right along your line. So when you cast out there, this goes down to the bottom, and then this will float up to your bait, and it'll float through. If this gets caught up, it'll kind of rest down in there, and you try to pop it up and get it out. If it does get caught, sometimes if you get the other kind of swivels, you can pop this out and not break off your line. But get your swivel and your sinker onto that. Right now, it's about 5,000 cubic feet a second, so I'm fishing about 3/4 of an ounce, and that floats good. You can feel the bottom pretty good. So you throw your egg sinker on to your line like that, and then throw just a regular old bead like you normally would be fishing with for actually bottom bouncing and trying to catch them. This helps protect for when this weight comes down towards your actual hook, that swivel doesn't bash into your knot and work at your knot and try to break it loose. So you put that bead onto there to help kind of protect the knot that this ties into your barrel swivel. So you got your sinker on your swivel first, then your bead, and then tie onto your barrel swivel. Tie this off, whatever knots you guys like. This one is just, I normally always use the fisherman knot. Wrap it around 5-6 times or so. Take it, put it through the bottom, and then let it down. You guys can use whatever knot you like. I've always fished this knot. I've never had a problem with it. Cut your tag end off. So now this is what it looks like tied on to your barrel swivel. You'll have your sinker with your swivel, bead, that protects that knot. If you can kind of see, it's probably kind of hard. That bead goes right over that knot and helps protect it. So when that comes down, it doesn't crash on it. So once you're good like that, then I always use fluorocarbon, some kind of leader, whatever you like. This one's P-line, whatever one your go-to is. This is 8 pound. I'd use 8 to 12. Make sure it's less than what your main line is. That way, if you do get broke or you do get snagged up, you hope you just break your leader line and not your main line. Do this generally 5 to 10 feet, about the length of your rod. I wouldn't go too much more than that, and I wouldn't go too much shorter than 5 foot. You'll get a lot more foul hooks when they're down there just because it's so close to your sinker. You want your bait to float up a little bit. So with this, just tie it right onto your swivel like you normally would. Again, whatever knot you want to use. Alright, so we got pretty much the whole setup rigged up. You got the main there, and then what's nice about this with your sinker, if you're too heavy or too light, just go ahead and snap this off, throw on your other weight, and then start fishing again. So now with baits, it's kind of like I said earlier, it'll be the beads, which is a big one a lot of people like using. There's so many different beads out there. And then my go-to is generally S-tag eggs, which are these guys down here. It's a S-tag Estes is a type of material that you can tie your flies with, and I've had real good luck when I started switching to these, and the hookups on them are pretty good. These are the other yarn balls that people like to use. They're nice, but I feel like if you do bigger ones like this, which helps in the low visibility, but because of how much yarn is on there, it tends to not hook up and your fish get off a little bit more just because there's more lure in its mouth for it to fight and get off. So those are kind of the three main ones, baits that people are using down there, bottom bouncing, drifting through. You can use, you know, like your flies and all that, but I wouldn't spend that much time and cast these down there because you're going to break off a lot. So if you go through and just use like get some of this stuff. This is the Estes. This is the regular glow yarn or the regular fly yarn. Get some of those, make up a bunch of different flies, so when you do break off, you got them ready to go. Fill up a little box like this, and you can just tie on, because you will break off a lot. If you were to get 3 colors, my top 3 favorite colors are going to be chartreuse, a pink, and then an orange. Those are my top 3 favorite colors. If I had to just pick one, I'd go with the chartreuse, and that's with Estes as well as your yarn. People will get just chunks of yarn, throw it on a hook, and it fishes just the same. Instead of taking time and making the little eggs, throw a piece of yarn on there and you'll have just as much luck as a lot of the other guys. And then same with any of the beads. If you're a big bead fisherman, just go through, get any colors of beads. Like I said, pinks and chartreuse are my big favorite ones. And then also I always have the orange, but try it out, see what you got. And that's pretty much just tying on the end of this leader, and then you're good to go. I have the hooks that I use are the Gamakatsu. These are the glow bug hooks. I have size 6 and 8. Those are my kind of go-to for my tying my eggs and everything. But that should be pretty much everything you need for your rod and your setup for when you go down. This is the one I generally use for 6th Street Dam. You can use them at a lot of the other dams, pretty much anywhere you're fishing for steelhead that you can able to bottom bounce, and there's not a ton of rocks. Down there it's a lot of concrete, so you can get long, nice drifts through. I'm going to go through and kind of show a video of how to go there and fish and what to look out for, because a lot of people start off going down there and get harassed or just don't know how to step in line and follow through and fish down there. So I figured I'd show you guys and kind of help you out to get you started off a little bit quicker. Hopefully this helps. If you like it, throw a thumbs up. I'd appreciate that. Subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. See ya.